All right, so we're here once again on another Overreaction Monday. We're recapping week 16. Surprising. It's so crazy to think we're here week 16 of the NFL season. Only got 2 weeks left in the regular season, but we're here once again on another Overreaction Monday. We got a special guest. The Podfather's here. What's going
Hey,
on?
Hey, what's up, gentlemen?
What's going
Glad to
on?
be here. I haven't made a bunch of appearances this year, but
Hey,
I'm
yeah.
running out of time. Even though it feels like this season's never going to end, I
I
also
know,
realize
right?
it also has went by quick. It's like we're in this weird space time continuum with this thing. But
Right.
I'm glad to be here, and there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and then also JP, this is your was it first or second time doing Overreaction Monday. You
yeah,
only maybe
I think it's like a second, third
second
time on.
time. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I'm so glad I'm here, man.
yeah,
Talking a lot of what's going on this past weekend with the NFL. We did the CU Sunday on
yeah,
Friday, and
yeah.
did our predictions. So, I'm ready to talk about it, man. Thank you so much for having me again, man. That's a blessing.
Hey, no problem, no problem. So fellas, man, we gotta go around the horn, man. Oh boy, what a week it was.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. Like we had the holidays, some prime time matchups. It looks like we didn't have a Sunday night football game yesterday as well, so we were kind of we were devoid of a Sunday night football game, guys. But
I, I, saw-
Y'all had like a good fight though. So
yeah, I know about. I know
oh
about.
my god!
I was watching the.
But,
I was watching. I thought it was the Alamo Bowl last night. I missed it.
oh my god! Yes, yeah.
Hey, we definitely didn't have a professional game on Sunday night. Let's put it that way.
No, yeah, this was a bowl game. Well, no, this ain't even a bowl game. This was a homecoming game.
Oh,
oh no.
But we definitely gonna get into that as the show progresses. But fellas, your biggest winner this weekend, week 16 in NFL season. What you got, JP?
Definitely the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills showed up against the Patriots this weekend. Josh Allen looked like an MVP, throwing 300 something yards, 3 touchdowns. No winning game, but being able to, and was leading in rushing too as well with 60 something yards. But he came out and really balled out, against a good Patriots defense, and they just had no idea how to stop them and all that, and then get the victory at the Arrowhead Park, or not Arrowhead Park, but at the Patriots Stadium. It's that was a great win for them, and also they keep the playoff hopes up. They are number 4 right now, while the Patriots slipped down to number 6 in the AFC. So that was a big win for the Bills, though, because we always said that the Bills was going to be going into the AFC Championship with the team that they had, and Josh Allen was like one of the best players. Like I think NFL had him at number 10 as the one of the best players coming out of this season, and they just been having an up and down season, and Josh Allen had an up and down season, but this is the game they had to win. Like I said on CU Sunday, they had to win this game. Josh Allen has to play his performance and everything. So definitely congratulations to the Buffalo Bills too. So
Yeah, big win, a season saving win, and like you said, that's
yeah,
now. It's another one where if they hold pack, they'll have a home playoff game versus being in that
Yep.
7th slot. It's a world of difference.
and, and the thing about the Bills, though, this is what's weird about them. This team is actually built for better weather. They're not like they don't play in the right city. I'm just being honest. Like you saw it. You saw what happened when the weather got horrible a few weeks ago in Buffalo. They took that terrible loss to New England, who threw the ball 3 times to beat them in that weather. Like I honestly think the Bills are better off if they catch a break and go to Kansas City or go to Indianapolis. Like I don't know how it's going to shake out, but or if it's just good weather like yesterday, like things like that. I'm not saying they're soft or anything like that. They're just built a certain way. But you're right on. I had Allen down as one of my biggest winners too. Like what a great day for Allen. He is. I mean, I understand he's not going to. He's okay if he's not the MVP or whatever. he's the most important player in the league to his team. Like, I think it. He had the ball in his hand. I think it was up somewhere around 56 snaps yesterday between passes and running. Like, he's, he does the same stuff that Lamar Jackson does. He carries the same load, and he's done it way better this year. So, just shout out to Josh Allen. That's a great day against coming off the loss a couple of weeks ago to the hated Patriots who had took control of the division. I totally agree with that as a winner.
Big time. And actually, shout out to our guy Stu. This was my honorary mention. This wasn't my number one winner, but also the Colts. Like, there's another one.
Yes,
a huge game, especially prime time Christmas Day game.
Yeah,
especially going to Arizona once again. That's another one where we even talked about it on CU Sunday, where you look at the Colts as the team that it's the old cliche, old football term in a sense where they got a game that travels.
Yeah.
So when we see that on display, where because we talked about it the previous week, obviously with Carson Wentz only had, I think he went, I forgot, it was like, I think he only threw the ball maybe like 12 times.
92 yards or something like that.
Yeah. And the other Saturday night game in a weird way. And then you see him now, even in that victory, 18 for 28 for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And not making the big mistake. Like, let's be honest. Like, Wentz not making the huge mistake it was gigantic. He's starting to figure it out a little bit and bringing back some of that magic he had with Philadelphia a few years ago. And here's the thing. I always look at teams going into it. I don't know how it's going to wind up, and I don't know how they're going to play on any given day. But what I know is if Wentz is at his best is really good. Like that play, that touchdown he throws, off his, I don't know, running to his left and slings it across his body into the back of the end zone. Those are playoff winning touchdowns.
Yeah, and the fact that Michael Pittman Jr. and T.Y. Hilton stepped up yesterday. Jonathan Taylor didn't even have a touchdown, but he was still effective with his legs and everything. He still got over 100-something yards, and then the defense really stepped up too as well. Without Darius Leonard, because we went into the COVID protocol, that's the most important player on their defense. And with them not playing yesterday, they really stepped up as a team. And, I said it on CU Sunday that, if they're focusing on Jonathan Taylor, Carson Wentz has to have himself a game. And that's what he did. So
that's a great win by Indianapolis. And, on the other side of that, Arizona really, again, if you look at Kyler Murray, it just feels like the workload gets to him. Like he looks like a tired quarterback late in the season, for the third year in a row. And it's a concern.
Yeah. You see the frustration on his face. Like you seen a lot of that frustration, almost similar to, was last week against Detroit. So you seen that as well. And even to Stu's point, like one of the biggest things, I think Quentin Nelson was out.
Yeah.
Remember, I think, and it's crazy because we talked about the game on Christmas Eve, but then I think that's when we found out about Quentin Nelson right after. Some things always conveniently, we always not miss, but all things happen after the fact, after the shows.
Yeah.
So we look at that as a one as well. But I definitely think that. But I have to give Southwest Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals. What a win! What a win!
Yeah, that was my biggest winner. That was my biggest winner.
I think and he, like you said, he had 525 yards, and I mean, what a game! And God, just imagine if and he definitely proved me wrong week in and week out as far as the whole situation of drafting Jamar Chase, and he should have got Penei Sewell. No. I'm dead wrong about that.
Chase
that
was a star.
Yes.
Chase is a
great
star.
catch by
He's next. Yeah, he's next.
The way Burrow spread it around. That was one of that. I mean, that's not. I mean, obviously, I think it was number 4 all time in yardage, but it was one of the best games we've seen a quarterback play this year, including A-Rod or any of the guys. Just tremendous. That was my winner too, Coach. I said everything involved with the Cincinnati Bengals. The other 3 division teams lost. They win. Burrow looks beyond great. Did not get hit, didn't have to fight through it, played an easy game, a comfortable game. Cincinnati had their way with, their division rivals and took control of the division. The fans, the announcers, everybody involved with the Bengals organization are winners. It was just, just enjoy it. We watched Baltimore go through this a few years ago when Jackson was on his run. It doesn't necessarily last, forever. And just enjoy it now. You've got a ginormous game this weekend against Kansas City to get ready for. Shout out to everybody involved with the Bengals I had on my winners list.
Yeah,
big time. But like you said, they got a pivotal matchup this week, and we're gonna see what this team is really about. If this was a fluke or not, but that one was a big win for Cincinnati and their hopes to making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they're by far the best team in that division. The best team in that division right now. We'll get to it. We'll get when we do our biggest losers. I'll touch a little bit more, but man, just a great performance. A great performance by them. And strangely enough, as of now, the Ravens are still in the playoff picture. That's
the thing.
It's amazing. Like they build up those wins. Lamar should be coming back. So that's it. That might keep them off my losers list. But man, that was amazing. And then one other winner I had real quick. Big day for the Philadelphia Eagles. Everything went the right way. They looked really good. They pick up a win against a terrible team, but that's what the NFL is about. It's about beating the terrible teams and then stealing victories. Now the Eagles just have to steal victories, put themselves in a great situation, especially what we saw out of the 49ers and some news we had today, which again, I don't want to step on my losers, but a big day for the Philadelphia Eagles. The team looked like a team. Hurst had one of his best games, with them. I can't say enough good things about that kid. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I can't say enough good things about the player he is and how hard he works. And he, like, again, not to besmirch the legendary Baker Mayfield, but Hurts is a guy that people think guys like Mayfield are. Like he's the guy that put in the work and gets a little better and puts, the big plays together and all that. So Eagles had a pretty good day yesterday.
Yeah. The Texans gonna get a good one. They get a good quarterback. Y'all know that's going to end up happening. So, I can smell it already, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I definitely hope I'm wrong about that. But so fellas, before we get into our biggest loser this week in Week 16 NFL season, we definitely got to get a huge shout out to the good folks at Built Bar. Built Bar is a truly standout among protein bars with its exceptional nutritional profile and so many delicious flavors. Use our promo code Off the Ball, which provide you, your friends, and family with a 10% off discount. Go to their website, builtbar.com. Use our promo code Off the Ball. Get yourself 10% off. Fellas, we got our biggest loser this week. I'll start with you first, JP. What you got?
I'm gonna let Coach go and go with that other team in Ohio and all that. I'll let him do all that. The LA Chargers got the ass kicked by the Texans. I mean, like seriously, they got the butt whooped by the Texans just to hold up through 2 interceptions. Just no. You let Buckhead run 200-something yards with 2 touchdowns. You let Mills get 2 touchdowns of 254 yards. Y'all got this. They got destroyed by the Texans, and we was talking about the Chargers as being one of those teams in the playoffs. And the last 2 games, they got the Broncos and they got the Raiders, and they're playing inconsistent football. Like, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. We had so much high hopes for the Chargers, but like every time I give them high hopes, like, okay, they're going to make the playoffs, they always disappoint me by their performance and everything. So I don't even know how the last 2 games are going to be. I can't say that the Chargers are going to win one or both of those games just because, like, we don't know which football team we're going to get. Like, that defense gave up just I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it. The LA Chargers will disappoint. I can't really say anything about the Cardinals just because, they depleted with the injuries. Well, not injuries, but injuries and COVID protocols. The Ravens, same thing, because Huntley didn't play because, of the COVID protocols right into the game started and everything. I can't say the Vikings just because Dalvin Cook didn't play. That could have been something effective different in the game, though. But the Chargers, I thought they was going to win this game, and to get them destroyed by the Texans, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, Chargers can't lose that game. I mean, a lot of credit to Mills though. He's actually had a really good season.
Yep.
I think it gives Houston some hope of a crutch, of where they can go without Watson, for the next few years. I mean, this Mills kid looks like he can get the job done in the NFL, which is good for him. But man, no way Chargers can lose that game yesterday. It's classic Chargers. It's classic Chargers. And here's the thing about it: nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Like the team is always, they had a pass the entire career of Phillip Rivers. They still have a pass now. Like it's just one of those. It's just one of those teams that just fall through the cracks. It's weird.
Yeah, and like you said, most definitely, I definitely think, So, who's your biggest loser, Paul?
I had a couple, but I think the biggest one, especially as of an hour ago, they just lost their quarterback, San Francisco 49ers. They're a really good team. They had all the I won't say excuses last year, but they had reasons last year of all the injuries. We know how talented they were coming into this year. They started off really groggy, but then people started getting, they started getting healthy. They kind of figured out they stopped messing around with the Lance Garoppolo thing and all that. And then they focused. Deebo Samuel became an absolute star. The defense started playing better. Bosa is just wrecking machine out there. One of the best players, defensive players in the NFL now. And then right when they get to where they start taking control, people are wondering if they can even win the NFC West or if they're the best team in the NFC West. They lose to the Titans, a good Titans team, but it's still, a loss. And then we just see that Garoppolo has a major thumb injury. It looks like he's out for the rest of the season. There's only a few games left.
Tough.
So it just, they went from, could they win the Super Bowl to they're probably not going to make the playoffs in a matter of 3 hours. I think that was just a really tough weekend for the San Francisco 49ers and just everything that they had kind of worked to get back to this season. So, and then, another one I had real quick, the AFC North outside of Cincinnati. Now they all have questions at quarterback, and I include the Ravens. Like I'm saying there's questions at quarterback with the Ravens because their quarterback doesn't play a lot right now. Something weird's going on. Pittsburgh's losing their quarterback. Cleveland, I think it's obvious that they're not have a quarterback. They look over and they see Burrow is obviously the real deal. They see a complete team in Cincinnati taking control of the division. Now all of a sudden you start seeing these losses on the schedule. So the AFC North, they all lost over the weekend. Looks like maybe only one AFC North team is going to make the playoffs. We were talking about 3 of them making the playoffs a month ago. So bad week for the AFC North. And also the Seattle Seahawks. That felt like the end of it. That felt like the end of the Russell Wilson, decade or whatever. It just felt weird about that game. I know they lost on a 2-point conversion, but it just feels like it's over now for the Seattle. And, a great run they had under Carroll, but it just kind of feels like everything will be different for Seattle Seahawks next year.
And, I also want to say about the biggest winner, Nick Foles, because any team that needs a quarterback, please go get Nick Foles. Please to get Nick Foles. I like Nick Foles. I just don't understand why he is not starting for a team, like the Cleveland Browns, like I hate Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, they picked up the 5th player option. And I mean, look, you got to find a way just to trade Baker out of there, get a Nick Foles out there too. Cleveland, maybe Cleveland might be a better team because
Foles is just always injured. When they give him the job, there's something about it. Like he gets injured. Nobody can quite figure it out. He's made a lot of money off everything you're saying, JP. Yeah. He's made a lot of money in the last.
And he's Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And shout out Jacksonville. Jacksonville gave him the money.
Yeah, gave him the bag.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Well, the biggest loser's got to be the Washington football team. My God, like I just can't for the life of me understand What happened last night? There's no rhyme or reason what happened. This is by far the most ugliest game I ever watched in my entire life. Now, granted, we lost to Dallas I think we lost to them like 40 something to like 16 or something like that, like 2 years ago. But we were like 3-13. We were horrible. This team a little bit more talent than the 79 team that won the division last year. But there was a point where we were about to get beat by 50 points. The score was 56-7 once upon a time in this game.
God.
It was horrible. Like, to me, it was just an omen of bad things to come. You look at the second play of the first drive, Taylor Heineke throws the interception to Aiden's father. And it just got ugly. I mean, you think about because the defense. So this is pretty much how the game, when the game was interesting. The first series for Dallas, 3-0. Then Taylor Heineke throws on second down, throws an interception to Trayvon Diggs. Game over at that point. Because after that, they just hit the ground running. This game is so bad that the Jonathan Allen and Cameron Payne exchange was the highlight of this team. Like, and when you sit down, you think to yourself, like, and I'm laughing at this now because I've had 20 hours to digest this. Now, this time yesterday, like, if you caught me at midnight, at midnight, well, I think it would have been a frown. It would have been breaking stuff and kind of been a little bit more of a evil part spirit. But now it's to a point where it was that bad. It was so ugly, like, to a point where I said I was going to quit and watch, because this is what I did, which that's why I hate being a fan, because it's almost like you glutton, you ask for this type of stuff. So this is me. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, it was 42-7 halftime. Look, I will watch
halftime.
Yeah, it was 42-7 at halftime.
It was bad. It was bad.
It was bad.
It was so bad.
So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't know why I do this to myself. I swear I don't know why I do this to myself. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna stop watching the game. I'm gonna let them. What they're gonna do in the first half, because we got the ball back in the first half. The second half. Same thing. Then after that's done, okay, I'll start watching the news. Well, let me turn back. Maybe they scored again. Like, and then I think I took like a 10-minute break and then end up coming back and watched the rest of the game. I stayed even to the point where we scored that little, the Cal Allen play with John Bates at the end of the game with 2 minutes left. So it wouldn't be a 50-point game, because at the time it was 56-7. So I was like, okay, well, good. We ain't getting beat by 50. Because I was like, I was like, bro, do not score again, Dallas. Please do not. For the life of God, don't score again. I don't want them to hang. I was like, at halftime, I knew they was gonna put up 50 points. I mean, they scored 42. And you think to yourself, oh goodness, like, don't score 60. Don't score 60. Like, you score 60 NFL game, it's ridiculous. And then this is the thing that really kind of was like, are you serious? Why is you bringing the benches?
Yes. I was
going to
say Texas in December. It's never cold in Texas. They bought it obviously because it was cold in DC, and I understood too. But petty, but you're being a jackass. It's stupid.
Yeah, that was silly.
It's dumb. It's like, to me, this what it made me look. It made you look dumb. It's almost like you're gonna ingest poison and thinking that the person that you don't like gonna get sick. No, you gonna get sick. Why would you bring heated benches to 80 degrees in Texas?
Here's what I want to ask you, Coach, and this is what I don't get. And listen, everybody likes Ron Rivera as a person. We get it.
Yeah.
But if you're Ron Rivera, you can't say, like, how do you not step in and go, no, we're not taking those benches to death. Like, that's embarrassing.
All this time,
how does nobody step in?
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
It's the owner. It's the owner.
And then this is the thing that killed me. Ron Rivera didn't know that that Cameron Payne and Jonathan Allen got in exchange until after the game because somebody told him, like, what? Are you serious? Your two best players, your captain, your Walter Payton Man of the Year for our team, and you didn't know that he got an altercation with until the end of the game. I'm like, something is wrong. I can't put my finger on it. I can't put a logical take on it or anything.
But I mean, this is the same team. A couple months ago, this was the team that like you couldn't like count out. They fought.
Right.
They rallied around and they did all these things, and then all of a sudden it's just it doesn't. I understand quarterback play comes up to catch up with you, but if that was true, like the Jaguar, like we just saw Houston win a game. We saw Houston beat the Chargers. Like you can't tell me that. And Dallas hasn't played that great for a month.
No,
I mean, I'm not saying they're a good team, but they ain't been. If the Chiefs would have done that right now, these Chiefs, I would have been like, oh, maybe you couldn't stop it.
Not surprised,
But that's the thing, right?
That was a weird. None of it makes any sense. That's why I said this season almost feels like it's to the point to where like it's so long. And I know we're not even at the 16 game mark, but it just it feels like it's been forever. And these teams some of them look like it's been forever.
Right. And like you're right, because and it's funny because obviously with the Watch the Football Guys podcast, it's almost feel like it's just a tale of. Like, each week feels like there's a storyline, some type of massive drama behind it. Like it's funny to even think that even the whole Sean Taylor fiasco thing was 2 months ago.
And it's forever ago.
So it feels it's like all this stuff happened in 1 year. So it's so crazy to think once the season's over to kind of look at this season and you just think to yourself like so many stuff like. I know, we thought getting beat by Buffalo was bad. This was worse. This is about far. This is the worst I've ever seen a Ron Rivera coach team.
Yeah,
I've had obviously, in the past we've seen some massacres, but this one takes the cake. And I don't know. It's just I don't know what's really going on. Like it's to a point where certain things. This is like I just can't. And even with the whole thing with the John Allen thing, like it's like. The most effort was exerted in that play. That was the biggest play. That was the biggest play of the game on defense.
Yeah, that's true. and that's a good point to all that is where's I mean you gotta go out there and play the game. Like I understand that you're a lesser team and you caught Dallas. They're pretty healthy. I mean Zeke's actually really healthy right now. They figured out how to use him. I'm not like that didn't surprise me, but it I don't know. There's definitely something missing, and I would say that about a lot of these teams. Like, what causes you to lay down like that? It's the weirdest thing, especially in the NFL, where it's it's pro sports. That's your job. That was just it was weird. That was a weird looking game.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And what was crazy about all of it is you think about it. Tuesday. You had better effort on Tuesday than you had on Sunday, and you had a lot more. You actually had your quarterback. We had more heart with a guy that was, his daughter. When he found out he had to come to Washington, he was bathing his child. Like he came to the facility fresh on Friday and had to play a game on Tuesday, and they had so much heart and resolve with that one. You would take that getting beat by 10 in that case of everything that's going on. But in this case, to get beat by 42 points.
That's rough in the NFL.
In the NFL, in the National Football League, and this is a divisional rival. Like this, like these type of things, you don't have to get up for these type of games. When you play in Dallas, it's not like I can understand it, and it's crazy in a weird world that we live in now that I can accept a Chargers loss like that because I can say, hey, they kind of maybe underplayed them and kind of was cruising. But this one, you fell asleep at the wheel.
Most important game of the season. I mean, there's against their hated rival, and that's a team. And Dallas is a team that can be got. On a bad day, they can be taken advantage of.
Played them 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you know it better than I do. That it's kind of inexplicable what happened to that Washington defense all season. Like a lot of things don't make sense. A lot of disjointed parts. It never felt right. It never felt right. Yeah. But to be fair, they've won as many games they did last year, correct? I mean,
no. Well, we got one more win.
Well, I mean, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they fell off so far. Just the difference is Dallas was terrible last year, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And the Eagles were worse last year. So
exactly.
you
Yep.
know, so when you
it's
don't win, it looks
Yep.
so much different.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with it right now. I got to, the Dolphins have worked their way back into control their own destiny, so to speak, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they've also, all their wins have been over, basically filling quarterbacks, except for the weird Ravens beat down that they put out. They've taken advantage of, lesser teams and filling quarterbacks and all that. So it looks different than it did last year. And last year I believe they finished with 9 wins last year. They've only got 7 now, but this team feels better just because of the direction they're going. They lose to the Saints tonight. They've got a pretty tough schedule coming up, with the Titans. They may be lucky to win 8 games, and then all of a sudden it's a different conversation. So it's all like the direction you're going to, in the NFL. It just feels different. I mean, sometimes we've had weeks to where we talked about how, look at, like we said it, the Ravens, everybody knows the Ravens look horrible for over a month. They are still in the playoffs as we speak. So sometimes it's just circumstances.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so and what's your matchup against I'll put it this way, your matchup next week, we are all behind you. We are all behind you. We have Patriots fans, Jets fans, all of us, we're all behind you. And you know why. So we will all be Dolphins fans next week.
Nice. We could use it.
Yes, especially after that display yesterday. But I digress. But yeah, it was that ugly, and yeah, I'll take it. It's all good. Yeah. Hey, and thank goodness that'll be 2020 NFL season. I just put it that way. But yeah, hey, but it is all good. They got us this year. We did it. Hey, it's only fair because last year we did the same thing to them last year. So hey, they just returned the favor. There you go.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, fellas, before we get into our biggest overreaction this week in Week 16, the NFL season, definitely got to give a huge shout out to the good folks at Bet Us. Pretty much, they have the fastest payouts in the industry, and they offer 125% sign-up bonus when you use our promo code in all caps, off the ball at sign-up. So, head over to betus.com, use our promo code off the ball, get yourself 125% up. 25% sign up bonus. So think about it like this: quick math. You put 100 up, they're gonna match it 125%. They give you $125. Simple math, So yeah, like we said on See You Sunday, use the house money. Be smart,
Absolutely.
Right.
Gotta be smart.
Yeah. So our biggest overreaction this week in Week 16 of the NFL season. JP, what you got?
The Chargers won't make the playoffs. Hey, it's going to be my overreaction because after that loss yesterday, I'm still not over that loss. They got the Broncos and then they got the Raiders. The way they were playing yesterday, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And it's probably the Dolphins is looking really good. And if they get this win tonight, they can probably bump up into the playoff picture. The only tough thing I've seen in the rest of the schedule is the Titans, and they got the Patriots too. That could be winnable games. That could be winnable games for the Dolphins. The Dolphins could make the playoffs, but
if Dolphins win out, they're in.
Yeah, exactly. So they got a huge chance. They got a huge opportunity. While the Chargers is pretty much just. they're going downhill from there. So, yeah, the Chargers won't make the playoffs will be my overreaction.
Yeah, wow. Definitely, I know Mo been chirping. We've been ignoring all his comments up until this point.
Game.
But, yeah, so that's Hey, that's 30 years in the making because they have not won a playoff game since what 1991.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 1990 season. It was like January.
Yeah, that you want to know their last playoff victory is when they ended Bo Jackson's career, I believe.
Yes, with the hip injury
against the Los Angeles Raiders. I think that was their last playoff victory.
Yep.
Yeah, that was about 30 years ago. That's crazy.
I remember watching it like it was yesterday. He went down, and I'm like, it was a piece of me died that day. I mean, it was just weird.
Yeah, that was rough, but yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals. What you got? What you got, Paul Father?
So I went away. We talked about some of the teams that are disappointments and positives and all that. I wish a player, and I think it's time that I don't know why we're not talking about it. I don't know why he's skating by. Trevor Lawrence might be a fraud. He's having an absolutely terrible season. He hasn't got. I can't count a handful of plays that I was like, okay, that's it. Like that's what we've been waiting for. That's the magic. And I'm not saying that he's the worst quarterback in the NFL, but I mean, my goodness, we've seen other rookies. We've seen what Mills has done with Houston. We've seen even what guys like Huntley did with Baltimore. I mean, the way they control team. And I know his team's bad. The Jets are bad too, but we still see Wilson, do something with it. We've seen what Mac Jones has done with the Patriots. I don't think anybody thinks Mac Jones is as talented as Trevor Lawrence. We don't care if Lawrence loses every game, but he's only got 3,200 yards and 9 touchdowns in today's NFL. 9 touchdowns. You're talking about Joe Burrow. We talk about him. Yeah, he's got another year on him, but they just played each other a couple years ago in college football playoffs. Burrow's thrown for 504 touchdowns in one game, and Lawrence can't muster up 9 in a season. I think it's time to have the conversation of he may not be whatever you want to call him, the next Andrew Luck, the next Aaron Rodgers, whatever, the can't miss prospect. Like maybe that's not exactly true. Maybe he's just a normal quarterback. I've just watched him the last few weeks, and I'm just like, why don't we talk about this? Nobody cares, but we're not talking about this because of the whole Urban Meyer fiasco. But Trevor Lawrence may just be average.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I was thinking about it, but that's the problem. It's like I hate doing comparisons. I hate when people do comparisons on players coming into the draft. Like Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be this next great thing. He's a once in a generation type of talent and all that. I was like, dude, let him play an NFL game and we'll do comparisons later and all that. Let him get his feet wet, And I'll say I'll give him one more year because we've seen some great quarterbacks go through struggles like Peyton Manning with the Colts, throwing the most interceptions in the season. That's understandable because you're making rookie mistakes. We've seen Troy Aikman, that Cowboy team could not win but one game that year, and then they turned it all around, to get into the Super Bowl and all that in a couple of years. So I'm going to give them just one more season. They need a coach. Byron Leftwich for the Buccaneers would probably be exceptional, for a Trevor Lawrence, or you could get a Jim Caldwell back, into the NFL because he has success with quarterbacks. He coached Peyton Manning. So I'll give him just one more season. They just got to get a coach together. That whole drama and all that, that's super bad because, like I said, Urban was never a coach. You put Trevor Lawrence in a bad spot. So I'll give him one more season, and if he proves to me in that next season that he's not as good as he is, I'll definitely say, yeah, he's definitely a bust.
Yeah, I just think what's happened with Lawrence is I did a lot of shows about this last year. We talked a lot about Trevor Lawrence. He's got a lot of his. Nobody would talk about his arm strengths. Okay, his delivery was bad. There was a lot of knocks on him. His last 2 bowl games, he got beat soundly by the Ohio State team that got obviously was just an all right defense, completely shut him down. But those things just kept getting overlooked, all these red flags, and they just, he had that stamp that he was generational talent. What I'm saying is I totally agree. But if he's a project quarterback, that's not can't miss number one. That's exactly what I'm getting at. He looks more like a second day guy that needs some work, and then he'll probably be really good in the future. But that's different than when you just I mean, Joe Burrow was good day one last year for a bad team. Like some of these guys are good day one. So that's all. I'm just saying that he might just be average and not he might not necessarily be the next Peyton Manning.
Gotcha. And one more quick question. I'm sorry, Coach. I just want to, because we did, in that draft of Trevor Lawrence, we've been hearing things about like him not really dedicating to the game of football and all that. Like he could do something else other than football and all that. Do you think maybe that it has something to do with that? Just the way it just seems like, yeah, he's having a bad season, but maybe he probably just doesn't care about
Let's put it this way. That stuff never did bother me, but it was a conversation to have. But I guess my point is nobody's having the conversation. That's exactly what I'm getting at, JP, is nobody's having those conversations. And it may have nothing to do with it. It may be completely all on the field stuff and he's 100% dedicated. But the fact is just nobody's like having the conversation as he's just had this weird pass. I think people have been harder on Wilson and Fields. My God, they haven't stopped. I mean, and Fields deserved it. Fields has definitely struggled, but I don't know how many times I've turned on a show and they're talking about Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. And it's just the difference in perception and scrutiny and all that's been weird. So we'll see. But I think though, if it takes you a few years to be a good quarterback, like there's nothing wrong if he's Kirk Cousins. I'm just saying that's not a generational quarterback. That's what I'm getting at.
Gotcha.
And I think it's more so this, and I think that's one thing too. I think even like with us and just anybody who do sports media, I think we need to be more responsible when it comes to scout reports.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of it too stems from the fact of just the more so if you say like I think I forgot an example. Like when it came to Mac Jones, I think we talked about this on the show one time. We said, can Mac Jones be like a Matt Ryan? Which casual fans and people who don't really like pay attention, like, oh, that he would suck. But no, Matt Ryan's been a league MVP in this league. He's been to the Super Bowl, and now he's 36 and he's still playing.
Great player,
good,
Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, right. Yes. So I think, like you said, and I think people do the scout reports to kind of to beef it up in the sense where it's like to kind of build that buzz and like like to me, and like you said, we hate comparisons. He could literally be maybe the Christian Laettner of this generation potentially, which I think he will be because obviously, and I think his situation is similar. They're decorated college players. They no doubt would be like college. He'll be a college football Hall of Famer very soon, probably before his career is over in the NFL. But he went to a bad situation in Jacksonville, so I'm going to give him kind of that point. And to your point, JP, I think Jacksonville really got to get this coaching hire correct. Like you got time now. Now this is the legal time where you can start looking for a coach, and I think this is where you really want to take advantage of this extra time to do it, because like this one you really can't screw this up. You got a guy who I think that has the potential to be your franchise quarterback, and you got to get him the right coaches. You got to, like, to me, like I always say, when you're interviewing these guys, these candidates need to give you a bona fide game plan of what they're gonna do.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I'm tired. You can't hire a CEO. You got to start hiring guys that know how to manage a team. Then you got to get a guy that you got to get coordinators that know the X's and O's. Like you've got to put together like everything. And that's what Belichick's been the best at it for his entire career. Like he knows exactly how to build a game plan and how to build a coaching staff. And that's what teams miss on though. They may go get Leftwich, but if they don't get him a good offensive coordinator, then it handcuffs him. Then all of a sudden the defense is going to be terrible or so and so. Like you only have so much time as a coach. You got to be able to delegate. So, but like I say, it's an overreaction too. Trevor Lawrence may go to the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing where, like, that's why I always say, like, when people always wonder, like, why I was like Kyle Shanahan and Mike Shanahan because of what they did with RG3, where we all knew Shanahan, their bread and butter is West Coast offense.
Yeah.
What they did, they went to Baylor and figure out what
Mhm.
RG3 likes and kind of cater his game plan. And I think that's what the next coach need to do. They need to go to Clemson, South Carolina, and then to Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Coach, when you and I said this on all on all the shows we did last spring, if you go and watch Lawrence at Clemson, there really isn't. The offense is, our players are so good, we can kind of do whatever we want, and that's a warning sign. There's, I'm not saying that he doesn't have the talent, but there's nothing to build off of. And then when he played, he played some good teams. He got, he really, like, his career seems funny. Like, he got that national championship, but the other 2 years he got whooped in the playoffs. Like that kind of gets, thrown, kind of goes under the radar there. And it's, they say the same thing about Ohio State too. And Fields will have to prove that he's not a, just a product of great athletes. Like, that's fair, but I'm just happy to be talking about Lawrence right now.
Yep.
No, that's a fair statement. That is a fair statement for Clemson, because you surrounded with great players. That is a fair statement. Yes.
Yeah. Because they was even saying after that freshman year, you think about it, they said he, and even if he would have came in that 2020 draft, he'd have been drafted over guys now who are making impacts and potentially playoff caliber teams than Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. So you think to yourself, like, that's big shoes to fill, and you see what he's doing now. And like you said, normally when we deem him as a generational talent, he can overcome those certain situations. Versus but like you said, because Bevel, I mean, he did a pretty good job with Russell Wilson. So he's not like a guy that's fresh out the water, like a neophyte. He's been around. Bevel's been around, and he's been there. And we just go. And I hate to do this. It's the holidays, but I'm gonna somewhat give him a pass this year. On like JP's point, like, I'm gonna give him 1 year.
Oh yeah.
This out, because like you said, it's because normally, like you said, you look at, even though Joe Burrow, I think he had a good coach in place. And Zach.
Yes, I believe so too. I do think Zach Taylor's a good coach.
Zach Taylor's a great coach. Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a understudy under Sean McVay, and we all know Sean McVay is a great coach.
I think so too. I agree with you.
Let me stop putting in my little Washington football team.
Oh yeah.
Let me
slip right through their fingers.
Right. You stop doing that. And so, what's your biggest over? Oh yeah, you already did Joe's about him. I actually think, and I'm not doing this because you're on the show, Jeff, but you knew I was talking about Miami even last week. Christmas Eve, JP. So I'm not just doing this for fodder, and But the Miami Dolphins now, I think they're gonna creep in and get that final 7 spot.
Yeah,
because we said all the dominoes fell, because we said everybody in AFC North was gonna lose. We said Baltimore was gonna lose. We knew Pittsburgh was gonna lose. Cleveland was gonna lose. We knew at least 3 teams were gonna lose. Obviously, Cincinnati and them. So then that happens. And then we knew about the Raiders and the Washington football team in the West, the Denver Broncos. that was gonna be another tipping point. So we had a bunch of like 7-7 teams, and now you're seeing that how, for some odd reason, every domino fell, like we talked about on Friday, pretty much. And now you got because at that time we knew Ian Book was starting for New Orleans, so that helps. And I'm like.
This is like the Dolphins absolutely 100% have to win this game today.
They have to.
Like everything is lined up this season. They've taken advantage of these bad quarterbacks or not ready quarterbacks. They're not bad quarterbacks. They're just they weren't ready. Inexperienced quarterbacks. They've taken advantage of it. They have to take advantage of it tonight. They win tonight, they jump into the playoffs. They jump the Ravens. They jump everybody because of tiebreakers. They've had a few good victories. Their last 2 games are tough because the Titans and Patriots both need to play. That's where a team like the Eagles, like they're really in a good spot, because chances are Dallas won't even play Dak the last day of the season. Washington, will they care this week? We really don't know what that team's going to bring. So a team like the Eagles is in a little better shape. But the Dolphins I'm finally excited. It took me about 5 victories in a row to finally get back on board.
I totally understand that.
You know me, I don't like hollow victories. I'm like, okay, great, they're winning, big deal. No, well, now it's different. So again, we have the right coach. That's what's important. Tua is doing enough.
Managing.
You know, I don't think his ceiling's super high, but that's fine. You can build a team around that and fight through it. Again, he's another one of these players that we've talked about. A few players we've talked about. Mayfield hadn't quite figured it out. A lot of these guys don't figure out how to get these big drives and get these big victories like Tua has. So credit to him for just getting it done one way or another. He's not wowing anybody with his talent, but hey, wins are wins. Do I think they're a very good team? Not really. I don't think they can win a playoff game. But then again, the one victory is that victory against the Ravens, to where when they're at the top of their game, like they were on fire that night. Can they do that again? I don't know, but I'd like to give them a shot. I'd like to see him make the playoffs. Who knows? I'm being totally honest. With COVID, you don't know who's going to play and who's not. Things might fall into your lap. So it is what it is, but it's kind of exciting right now. And I'm looking finally for the first time all season. I'm looking for the first time since the game 1. I'm looking forward to a Dolphins game tonight. So
big time.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And like you said, I like Ian Book. I mean, he's had pressure, obviously being a quarterback at Notre Dame and playing. I can't listen to our boy Stu though if Ian Book pulls this off. Like I can't do this. Mute him for the rest of the year.
I never met anybody that hates Notre Dame so much and loves Ian Book so much. I can't figure out. Maybe they went to school together. I don't know. I do not know. I cannot take it. I cannot take an Ian Book victory
it's an
tonight.
Indiana thing, I guess.
I guess so, man. I guess so.
No rhyme or reason, but hey, he being him, we share common interests. Love Kirk Cousins, so hey, he's a good guy.
Yes, he is.
But
yes, he is.
So, fellas, let's put a bow on this week's Overreaction Monday. So, I'm going around the horn, fellas. Final thoughts and social media and any upcoming projects. What you got, JP?
Oh man, you can check me out on It's Just JP on YouTube. Got 100,000 views for my channel. Man, that was just been awesome. And my second video went 10K. My second video went 10K. So I've got 2 videos that's over 10K. So I'm very fortunate and blessed that happened and everything. So yeah, check out my YouTube channel. I might put out a video tonight on Russell Westbrook's comments earlier today. So you might have to look out for that. You can check me out on Off the Ball on YouTube. I'm doing my NFL recap and then possibly going to the bowl games. I might do it next week. Don't know yet, but might do a little bit of some wrestling too as well for Off the Ball Network on YouTube. And then my Twitter handle will be JP Franchise 57. Been kind of going in and out in terms of just like hooping debates and just comments. So definitely check me out on all 3 of those platforms.
Okay. All right. Paul Father, what you got?
First of all, thanks for having me on the show again. I love doing this show. It's one of the best. It's one of the best on the network. Most importantly, go to offtheballnetwork.com. Follow Off the Ball Network on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. All of our content's on there. All the work that we're doing is on there. There's a ton of stuff coming out. I'm Jeff Needs Sports personally, so you can go to the Jeff Needs Sports podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. It's mostly football right now. We don't know what next year will hold. We might do some sports movies. We might do some sports games. We have no idea, but it's a lot of fun. And other than that, I want everybody have a safe and happy New Year. Try and enjoy your time. You know what I mean? Just to ignore some of the stress and things that get you down this time of year. Have a good weekend. Watch some football. Realize that it's just entertainment, and try not to let the real world get you down too much.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram under CouchCoach Live. Also the podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get those there. So CouchCoach Live stuff. No live show this week, but we're gonna have 2 shows for you on New Year's Eve. We'll have the
nice
2021.
Nice.
We'll do that one, and then also,
Wow.
That was fun last year. I'm glad you're doing that again.
Yeah. So we'll do that one as well. Then also the Washington Football Guys podcast. We're actually doing it this week on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I guess in 3 days, me and Rob will kind of cool down after this situation.
No. Rob don't cool down. Rob does not cool down.
Yeah, but hey, that's that's how we do. Hopefully, we're gonna see, and so we'll be previewing our matchup, our home finale against Philadelphia Eagles, which is so crazy to think that this is it. Next week
crazy,
is
man.
the last home game for us, and senior night.
Yeah, they're gonna be a lot of guys ain't coming back.
Who you telling?
Whole show.
A lot of people. It better be not a lot of people, especially off this 6-11 team potentially, or 7-10 or whatever we're gonna end up finishing. Yeah, a lot of them shouldn't be on this roster.
Yeah, they may not pick up that Fitzpatrick option.
Nah, he's done. I mean, he got 39 with a hip injury. No,
he's done.
Yeah, I mean, no way. Because then, I think he's just gonna retire. Because I don't think he's gonna be able to recover off of that. I think it's at his age.
He'll be in the booth. Him and Tony Romo have their own podcast this time next year.
Ooh.
Right. QB1s.
QB2s.
QB2s. Yeah. Mid-major QBs. But yeah, man, and also like you said, Paul Father, everybody, Happy New Year. And like you said, enjoy the game, especially we got, the college football playoff, the semifinals on New Year's Eve. And I'm so glad that they did that, because everybody, be up in arms about that. Oh, I got plans. Like Herbie said, plan accordingly. It ain't our fault. Plan accordingly.
Hey, blame the Rose Bowl. Blame the Rose Bowl. That's what drives the sport.
Exactly. The granddaddy of them all. That's the reason why it's called that.
Yep.
And oh man, I cannot wait. I know we kind of off kilter, but I love, the best thing about the Rose Bowl is at the halftime,
as it gets
sun
dark,
comes down, and then and then the sun comes down, and then you see the mountains in the distance.
Oh yeah.
I'd feel better if we had I don't know, our receivers, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh yeah, y'all can catch me Friday morning. Me and Jay Stevens on Locked On Buckeyes. We'll be doing the Rose Bowl previews. You can catch that this week too, if you're so inclined.
Okay, yeah, we definitely got we got some stuff coming out. But man. So this has been this week's Overreaction Monday. Once again, definitely appreciate for everybody for tuning in. Definitely huge shout out to our guy Mo for chiming in. His hate speech comments towards my team, but we'll leave that alone. Because sticks and stones may break my bones, but his words will not. Okay. but definitely you shout to Mo. It's all funny games. He's a rabbit with a gun now, so hey, I just gotta surrender. It's all good.
Yep.
Because I was a rabbit with a gun last year, and boy, did I start shooting.
Yes.
But
yeah, you NFC East, NFC East cats are different.
Oh yeah. We different, big time. But yeah, man. So once again, appreciate everybody for checking this week's Overreaction Monday. We'll see you guys next week, and we are out. All right.